Now let's see if my reading is any better tonight than it was on the last stream. Alright, so we're on part 2. A Realm Reborn Part 2. In the midst of touring the 3 city-states and witnessing the myriad problems besetting the realm, the adventurer has a chance encounter with a member of the enigmatic Scions of the Seventh Dawn. An invitation to their base of operations, the Waking Sands, promises to shed light upon the mystery of the Echo and more. Pray return to the Waking Sands. I'm excited. It's probably pirates. Bateron, the proprietor of the Drowning Wench, has need of a capable adventurer. I'm capable. I thank you for taking the time to help me out. Now, I'm sure you're busy, so I'll come straight to the point. Word has it some suspicious looking buggers have been sneaking in and out of the Sestasha Sea Grot, and I need a trustworthy sort to head up north of Aleport and find out who they are and what they're up to. Don't sound like much, I know. But since that nasty business over in Swift Perch, folk have been a bit uneasy. Well, I say a bit. 'Tis all they can do not to soil themselves every time the bloody floorboards creak. If you would permit me, if you oh okay, this is Raynor now. I was like, why is he referring to himself? If you would permit me, Master Bateron, I should be happy to elaborate. Well, well, if it ain't the Chief Yellow Jacket himself. To what do I owe this rare honor, Commodore Raynor? Come to make sure me patrons are behaving, or just thirsty? Neither, in fact. I came to welcome Lavenza back to Limsa Laminza. It is it is well you have returned. Over the course of the past moon, there have been several sightings of an unfamiliar vessel off the coast of Aleport, in the vicinity of the Isles of Umbra. This information came to my attention no more than a few weeks after a squad of my own soldiers had completed a routine patrol of the region, the Sestasha Sea Grot included. Their search revealed little, save that a family of corals had taken up residence in the caves. Nothing to concern us, in short. In light of recent developments, however, it would seem wise to search Sestasha again. But with the Sahagin taking our defenses, testing our defenses daily, I am loath to assign the task to the limited forces at my disposal. Our line is stretched as it is. Thus, I sought the services of a competent adventurer to conduct an investigation in our stead. Any aid you can offer in this matter would be greatly appreciated. Then it is settled. Sestasha is located in western Lenosia. For more detailed instructions on how to reach the place, I suggest you consult Vimelpa. She can be found at the ferry docks on the lower decks. You heard the man. Good luck to you, lass. All right. So it looks like I was right. At the end of the last stream, or at least the story portion of it, I was curious or kind of predicting that, like, at this point, we would be working toward the, the 3 kind of starter dungeons or whatever. And it looks like that is the case. So I guess this Vimelpa is downstairs. Where is she at? Oh, okay, yeah, she's... I'm sure he said like exactly where it was. I just kind of registered in my head. She's somewhere in Limsa. Okay, let's go. You're here about Commodore Rayner's investigation? Then you'll want to board a ferry board for airport. Once you arrive, or that was probably bound for airport. Once you arrive in Western Lenosha, though, you best pay a visit to the Hall of the Novice before you blunder into Sestasha. I think I'm all right. The Adventurers Guild runs the hall, and the folk there will prepare you, uh, train you with the skills you'll need to face the dangers undoubtedly waiting for you in the Sea Grot. The hall is on the way to Sestasha, just north of Ailport. Head inside, and one of their seasoned adventurers will take you in hand. Best of luck to you, friend. Okay, so I'm going to have to speak to somebody there, but does that mean I have to actually do it? This ferry is bound for Ailport. Are you riding with us? Indeed I am, sir. I mean, obviously it's not like, you know, it's that much of a bother if I do have to... I don't think I'll have to do any of Hall of the Novice, but even if I did, it's not hard. It's just time better spent elsewhere. Ah, you must be the adventurer of whom the Yellow Jacket sent word. I hear you are to brave the depths of the Sestasha Sea Grot. The occupants of those caves are rumored to be as numerous as they are bloodthirsty. No matter what the epic tales would have you believe, strolling into such a den of savagery alone would be the height of foolishness. No, you shall need companions, and you shall need the training we here at the Hall of the Novice can provide. I strongly suggest that you study the fundamentals of group combat before continuing on your mission. The smith here oversees the training schedules. Speak with him and you can register for exercises tailored to your particular field of expertise. When you have mastered all that our masters have to teach, then it will be time to head north once more. Report to the Yellow Jacket Scout at the mouth of the Sestasha Sea Grot, and he will furnish you with the details of your duty. Okay, and then I can just go straight there. So, interestingly, like I mentioned in my last stream, you know, I'm an experienced player. I've been playing basically since the beta of the game, and so obviously, like when I did this stuff, the Hall of the Novice was never even a thing. And I know at some point they added not only the Hall of the Novice, but they made it a part of the MSQ. So it was just kind of interesting, I guess, to experience that for myself, you know, because I didn't have to do that little bit before. And here is Edda and the crew. I'm sorry, Avir. I came as fast as I could. I tried haggling with the merchant, but 2 potions was the best I could get with the money you gave me. I had no idea how expensive they were. What took you so bloody long, Edda? If me purse was too light, you might have considered using some of your own bleeding coin to get us what we need. You've only ever been as useful as the contents of your pockets. The gods know you can barely heal a scratch. Okay, heal a scratch. Those stupid apostrophes and missing the letter. I was thinking meal. I was like, that doesn't make sense. We took up the venture in life to take on the big jobs and claim the big rewards. How are we meant to do it if you can't ever get our supplies in order? Huh? It's her, the one Bateron was talking about. Well, we'll see who gets the glory. This job should have been ours in the first place. So I don't like. Obviously, if you're experienced with the game, you know the story of Edda and everything that happens there. And I'm sure, like the first time I went through this, I mean, I probably talked to them, but immediately just forgot who they were, because they're just some random NPCs. Um, but now going through it, like, in particular, so obviously later on, Avir dies, and then she marries his floating head or something like that. But like, I just thought, oh, they loved each other or whatever, and um, and she's so grief stricken and blah blah blah, and that's how it ends up. But she was victim to an abusive relationship from the get go, man. That dude's a dick. This is perfect for our inaugural outing as a party. Wandering around in the caves, turning over a few rocks, how difficult could it possibly be? I never expected our first visit to the Adventurers Guild would yield such a straightforward way to win fame and fortune. Wahahahaha. Edda, you're so slow. You'd lose a foot race to a tree slug. Poor girl. I don't know if they're really worth talking to. I guess I will. Maybe they pop up later. Grandfather and I are companions on the road. We travel where the wind takes us and drink in all the wonders this world has to offer. Only an adventurer can understand the joy of such freedom, of discovering hidden places and experiencing sights and sounds that few may ever know. The passing years have begun to take their toll on the old man, but no force save death itself will sate his appetite for adventure. Ah, fellow adventurer, you too are here to unravel the mysteries of Sestasha. I have adventured across this wide realm for more seasons than I dare to count, yet still Eorzea manages to surprise me with her beauty and splendor. Our journeys are not ended by the attainment of riches or fame. It is an unquenchable thirst for the unknown that drives us into the wilds time and again. Even if I explored the world for 1,000 years, I would never grow weary of this life. I want to say I recognize these names. I could be wrong, or there's probably other NPCs somewhere in the game that have the same name but like one letter off. Again, I know this group, but anyway, little bit of extra lore for you there. Please tell me you're here on Yellow Jacket duty and not some daft sod out for a stroll. I can't take any more of this blasted waiting. You are. Thank the gods. I assume you already know about the ship seen slipping around the Isles of Umbra. We've been on the lookout for pirate activity ever since that vessel was sighted, thinking a crew of cutthroats might have a den nearby. So when we received word that men of questionable quality had been seen passing in and out of Sestasha here, we weren't entirely surprised. I've yet to see them for myself, but if this lot belongs to those fishback fancying serpent reavers, well, you can imagine the panic it'll cause. The kidnappings are still fresh in people's minds. Anyway, your task is to poke around in the caves and find out exactly who we're dealing with. While you do that, I'll be keeping watch out here, praying you don't spot any blue-faced tattoos. Use the duty finder to enter Sestasha. All right, so I'm hoping later at some point, once there's enough, people watching that are on this data center, that I can run some of this stuff, with other people. Particularly, it would be fun to do it like minimum eye level. You know, just to maybe some amount of challenge. I don't know. I don't think I've really run anything minimum eye level, but this stuff is so easy, you know, even in Duty Finder, that it would just be nice to have a little bit of a challenge. But because that isn't the case, for now, gonna go in alone and crush it. I mean, like, I could just queue up for it, and obviously since I'm a tank, I would probably get an instant queue. But, I mean, if it's going to be easy anyway, I might as well just make it super easy and just blow through it, you know, so we can get on to kind of more of the story. And it'll be interesting. I haven't seen any of these cutscenes in forever, so it'll just be interesting to go down memory lane there. I mean, not like this whole thing isn't memory lane, but all right, let us begin. To be honest, it's kind of nice just to do this on my own, because I'm not synced and I have full access to all my abilities. And it kind of, you know, lends to the badassness of my character. You know, a party of 4 couldn't make it through, but I'm going to go in by myself and crush it. Okay, so it's his sea is blue, so that's what the... Well, I guess I could read that. You find a bloodstained scrap of parchment with a message scrawled upon it in faded ink. The captain Ike's his sees blue. Okay, that was a weird sentence, or I'm a bad reader. I think we've established that by now, but I don't even recall all of the dungeons that are a part of the main scenario. Because there are some of them that I think would be fun to go back through. I mean, particularly of the early ones that, you know, are, you know, originally from 1.0, just because... While many of them are reviled by players, I think they do have interesting dungeon design. Because I think the way they've gone with dungeons, obviously, like, you know, beautiful scenery and all that. And I mean, I love, you know, like the boss designs are getting better and better. But they're obviously super linear, which, you know, makes them, I think, easier to make. But that also kind of makes them a little less interesting. It's an interesting debate when it comes to game design. Because while I find dungeons like Thousand Maws of Todorok to be more interesting, at least kind of layout-wise and everything, because they're not just one long corridor, I mean, you do end up getting into the same kind of situation or whatever. You know, basically anytime a choice is presented in a game, where inevitably, like, it's just going to become common, or common knowledge or whatever, that, like, this is, the quickest, best path or whatever. And so, those alternate paths, or however you want to call them, don't end up getting used anyway, which is kind of unfortunate. I think it would be interesting, maybe, instead of really giving people the choice, because again, they're just going to choose the quickest path generally, if they still made alternate paths, but the paths are randomized, like every time the dungeon is... I don't know why I picked up the last bit of stuff from the chest. I don't need any of it. I don't... I could make a little bit of... just a tiny bit of money. It's not worth picking up. Anyway, what I was saying was... if they had alternate paths and then just randomize them every time you go in, just so there's at least like a little bit of variety, switch up, maybe like a mid-boss along the way. There's 2 or 3 different bosses you could end up fighting, depending on the RNG. Oh, I didn't pick up the key. Although I'm sure that you still have people complain that it's like, oh, like I don't want this boss. I want that boss because they have other loot. Assuming they even have other loot, but I mean that would make it a little bit more interesting. But again, people would complain because it's like, I'm farming for this piece of loot, so I don't want this boss. And then you would have levers, and I mean, the fact of the matter is like the players kind of do it to themselves, when it comes to like how homogenized things are. Because when you add all the choice and everything to it, it inevitably, like, enough people end up complaining, or maybe not even complaining, but just, the devs look at their metrics and they're like, everybody is essentially doing it this one way, and, we're spending extra development time to add in. Might you consider a parlay? I wasn't even paying attention to the dialogue before. The pirate stuff. Pirates doing pirate things. I've done unsynced dungeon runs, at least into some of the Heavensward dungeons, like solo runs. But I don't know what the highest level dungeon I've done unsynced. It would be interesting to see how far I could actually go with just doing it myself. But of course, I'd prefer to, run it with, people watching the stream. Psh, you sully our spawning grounds, shorewalker. Psh, Finlish fools, the god of the world shall sup upon your shoals. I kind of wish I had paid attention to what the pirates were saying. I mean, again, I think it's just pirate things. They're like lackeys of the Sahagin here. But well, I mean, if they did say anything interesting and you're frustrated that I skipped over it, sorry. got my mind on other things, you know. um, oh, and just go straight back to the drowning wench. Okay, and then they're not here anymore. Do we? I know we see them again, obviously, in Tamtara hard mode. I don't recall if we see them again in the next 2 dungeons. Let us find out, shall we? Aye, such a task was on the books. Was, mind. I'm afraid that ship has already sailed, friend. Hey there, cutie. My dog's sniffing around, trying to get in on the action. Ah, might you be the adventurer we accepted, who accepted the job of investigating Sestasha? Nod. It would seem that ship has not only sailed, but now returns to harbor. None the worse for its voyage. A pity. We dragged our boots too long on this one. No matter. The wheel will turn and our chance will come. You are right, of course. But there shall be no rest till we have attained our goal, lofty though it may be. Not a wink of sleep, great leader. Our aim, lest you wonder, is to perform such feats of heroism as will earn us a place in the songs of every alehouse in Eorzea. We mean to write a legend which will inspire adventurers as yet unborn to follow our shining example. That's the funny, kind of thing. I mean, I think everybody knows it's kind of the people that seek it usually aren't the ones that deserve it. Do you have such a goal? Large or small, it matters not. Only have a star to reach for, and you will reach higher. Purpose can sustain you through times of hardship. Keep your eye on the prize, and all obstacles will be overcome in time. You would not think to stride into battle unclad, would you? Well, goals are as arms and armor for the spirit. I wish you fortune in your endeavors, milady. I mean, it's true. I know personally, like, when you kind of don't have direction in life, it can keep you from moving. So, your reasons for adventuring may not be the best. That just like simply just for glory to get your name out there. But yeah, you got goals, so there's something. Back then, are you? With all your limbs and a tell to tell, I'll wager. Fishbacks. And there I was thinking you'd only have to crack a pirate skull or 3. 7 L's. You turn your back for 5 bloody minutes, and the scaly bastards have set up shop on your bleeding doorstep. Still, sounds like you left 'em in pieces, so I don't suppose they'll be carrying out whatever mischief they was planning. Unless they was planning on feeding themselves to the fauna Cestotia, of course. Any road, all's well that ends well. Thanks for shedding some light on this mystery. I knew you'd get the job done, lass. You always do. Now, I'll bet you're dying for a rest. But just in case you're not, I was wondering if you might be interested in taking on another job. It just so happens that I've had a request from our sister guild in Gridania, see? Seems the forest folk are in need of a of a venturer what can get things done. For them to ask for help like this, you can bet the task won't be no skip through a sunny glade. But after the way you dealt with our fishback infestation, I doubt it's anything you can't handle. Give us a shout when you're ready, and I'll lay it out for you. Turns out it wasn't pirates after all. Or it was, but not completely. Ooh, I unlocked Party Finder. Awesome. Thank you for watching this video. I've had a great time going back through the story. If you've enjoyed it as well, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and come join me over at Twitch. My link is down below. I'll be streaming every Tuesday through Saturday from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time. Thank you again.